Hello, I'm Krista McAllister, and welcome to Cerius Leadership. Whether you are growing your business, growing your career, or quite possibly both, thank you for listening. Today, I am so excited. I'm here with Layla Velez. Just Layla, you are so incredibly accomplished. You have a compelling story. I'm excited to learn a bit more about your background and how you ended up with this incredible journey of yours. You're an entrepreneur, a TEDx speaker, and really a global young leader at economic forums. Often you speak on entrepreneurialism, innovation, and building teams. I'm excited to get your thoughts on some of these topics today. So thank you for joining the discussion.
Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure.
And I think it's tough to start anywhere other than your entrepreneurial roots. Most teenagers, when they're 19, they're in their first year of college or they're just entering the workforce, making sure they get to work on time. You decide to start a business. What
Yeah,
inspired you to start it at such what seemed like a young age?
sure. I think I fell in love with cosmetics and beauty as a tool to promote happiness and change people's lives on a very early age. I started selling cosmetics door to door when I was 12. And I really felt how magical that could be when you at least especially when it comes to hair, for curly hair. So I was already hooked with this magical capacity that cosmetics have from an early age. And at 14, I started working at McDonald's as an attendee, flipping burgers, French fries, and I met my first partner there, Rogério. And we decided to open our first company together that was Beleza Natural. Beleza Natural, it was a very tiny, unassuming place
Mhm.
focused on offering services for curly hair. It was like a regular hair salon, but
Mhm.
with a twist. We wanted to implement all the processes, the way to manage that we learned from McDonald's in a completely different environment. That was a beauty shop and a beauty salon. And it turns out to be a wonderful decision because we managed to create a process where each hairdresser was a specialist. And each service was divided into different stages, and each stage performed by a specialist. So that gave us a lot more productivity, a faster capacity.
Mhm.
Um, the quality of the service at the end of the session was much better because each one of them were so used to have that perfection in each detail. So it was a huge success from the beginning. Um, we started having lineups before we opened the store. We had to open earlier, close later. It was a fantastic experience. And I was 19. And I really had in mind that the only thing that I wanted was to create an environment, a hair salon that would cater people like me, my family, my friends, with respect, with love, with understanding of the curly hair texture. Because back then, we were talking 1993, it was a long time ago, there wasn't any specialized treatments or products, only for straightening processes, very harsh
Mhm.
chemicals and products that would kind of deny the hair texture, try to change it to a more Barbie style, completely different from the natural pattern. So we decided to do it differently. And one of the things that we managed to do was create new services focused on curly hair treatments. We also created products like shampoos, conditioners, masks, so everything that you need to take care of hair. We partnered with a chemist that helped us create the formulas. So it was a long journey of understanding our clients' needs and at the same time creating solutions for these needs at a very early age. But because we put ourselves in the shoes of our clients, that was easier than it could sound. I think that was the magical sauce.
I'm just so many questions. My mind's about to explode right now. I'm so excited. I was looking forward to this discussion because I didn't realize that it started at 14 flipping because I'm picturing you 14, 15, 16-year-old flipping burgers going, huh, why not do this with hair? Why we can apply the same process. It's not a natural segue. I mean, decoupling it and saying, hey, do we really need to find five people who are great at learning the entire process, which we all have that challenge in business? In my world, we call it a full desk recruiter. You've got to go get the business, you've got to service the business, you've got to follow up. And you said,
Mm.
that I really don't need that. I need five people, but I need five people specialized in what they do. Was that part of the train at McDonald's? Did you realize from an operational standpoint? Did you read the book? How did that resonate with you saying, all right, I see how we each have our station. We can cross train. We could do this with just about anything.
It's true. When I started working at McDonald's, I really fell in love with the entire um, magnitude of the company, capable of having success in many different locations in the world. And I think the patterns, the standardized processes was a big part of the success. I tried to learn as much as I could, reading all the books, all the manuals. I was really into understanding what was behind the scenes to see what made McDonald's so successful. I don't know why, but my curiosity and the feeling that that was larger than myself
Mhm.
led me to this journey. And I was promoted as a manager when I was 16. Was really an early age because I was so completely involved with that reality, and I learned as much as I could, and I became kind of an example for the employees as well because they were teenagers like me, and I was trying to do my service the best I could and learn as much as I could. And when I turned 19, when I decided to leave McDonald's and start my own business, I felt like, well, I had an MBA. I learned so much about how to create a process, how to standardize services, how to have customer service at its best, how to train people and to make sure they were following the steps to create a successful service or a product. So that was really helpful when I started my own business at Beleza Natural.
And the natural tendency for a lot of entrepreneurs is I don't want to turn anything away. I need to get as much business as I can, and I'll offer as much as I can. But you really stayed true to, no, we're going to be the best at curly hair. Was that easy and natural for you to do, or did you have to stop yourself and say, I get they're asking for, no, we're not going to do that. We are the specialist in this area.
I think I was really lucky because I felt on my own skin the need for a solution for our curly hair. And as a teenager, as a young woman, the only solution that was offered back then was to straighten my hair or to cut it really short,
Mhm.
things that I didn't want for myself. And I knew that my friends, my family, they didn't like it either. And there was no salon or products or services catered to our type of curls. So I decided to see, well, what can we do different? Why not have a salon where people with hair like mine could go to, instead of going to straighten the hair or deny their curl pattern, maybe enhance it, make it more beautiful, and understand what was the best possible techniques and enhance the techniques to make this possible. So we spent a long time learning how to do things because one of my partners, I'm sorry, I kind of forgot to mention, but we were four partners. One of the partners was a hairdresser. and she knew everything that she could know about hairdressing from a standpoint of what the regular market was doing back then. But
Mhm.
in the manuals and everything that she studied, there was no specifics for curly hair. So we had to really create from scratch, understanding our clients' needs, trial and error for a long time, trying to hear the clients, and their feedback would allow us to move to different directions. So it was a really rich process of learning while we were getting bigger and stronger as a business. So when we decided, well, I think we have already managed to have a structured process and a business, that was when we decided to launch new units, hire
Mhm.
more people, and start the real, let's say, expansion plan. But that took us at least 2 years of really trial and error, understanding and learning and testing products and testing techniques. So it was a lot of work, but it really paid off.
Getting it right at first. And as you're expanding, I can imagine your recruitment, your attraction for people wanting to work with you. You're not going out there and trying to find those who are certified and trained as a hairdresser. What are you now looking for, and how are you getting them trained up? Because your scalability is now, you're on a different level.
True. The most important thing for us was to have people that would share our values, that would really understand what it means to have curly hair and to struggle with processes, products, the frustration of having spent a ton of money and having really frustrating results. So we wanted to find people that could really feel like our clients, um, and help them uh, how can I say, from a heartfelt point of start. I mean, they really cared. They really felt that they could improve that community, improve that people's lives through what they were doing. So the most intuitive decision was to hire former clients because they were already really well trained, let's say,
Yes.
into using the products, understanding the services. They didn't have the technique, but the technique, we created a kind of a beauty school to train them from scratch to become hairdressers. It took, depending on the position, from 3 months to a year, but it was fantastic because they had everything that we wanted, especially the values, especially understanding what the client felt, because they were clients as well. So that made a successful connection with our community, with our clients. And I think that was the beginning of the seed that made Beleza Natural a different kind of animal in terms of service.
What were some of those obstacles or challenges? Because you've got a lot of clarity and you knew what you were building. Sometimes just a big boulder drops in front of us as we're growing things, and we've got those challenges. What
Oh,
were
so
some of
many.
those that you had to stop and go, "All right, we got to figure this out," or no, we just need to go around it?
There were many, but I think the most challenging one was financing the business to grow at the speed we wanted it to grow. Because when we were going to banks or to investors or VCs, they couldn't understand why that was a successful business. They didn't understand anything about curly hair, and we were really different from a regular hair salon. We had the hair salon piece, the factory piece, the training,
The
everything at the same
university.
time. So it
Wow.
was it was difficult to grasp and to understand that and to believe that that was a solid business. Only years from the beginning that we had already a very steady and long history of results. that they really started believing us. But before, just looking at the business model, at the first results, they couldn't understand or believe that that was possible. They said, well, but you have so many clients and you have only one location for now. Usually salons have a lot less clients. How do you manage to serve with quality? And then I had to tell them about McDonald's and the processes, and they couldn't figure it out. Well, how could something that works for hamburgers would work for hair, for curly hair? So it was really difficult at the beginning. Training people wasn't easy at the beginning as well, although they were already selected based on their values, on understanding the client's needs, but they had to learn from scratch everything about hair, everything about the structure, everything about the products and the techniques. So it was challenging as well until we managed to create like a step-by-step process on where to start the training, how to enhance people's capacities in a faster, better way. So it was a lot of moving parts, but I'm hopefully at the end of a couple of months trying and trying again, we managed to be successful in those challenges.
You just said something really interesting. You said you found ways to enhance their capacity
Mm-hmm.
and their capability.
Sure.
Is when I just dig into that a little bit more, is to me that's it's not about we just made really good training materials, that we tapped into the individual and that how do we adjust to that or how do we enhance what you're good at and just make it that much better?
When it comes to beauty, depending on what will work as a technician, you need different skills. For instance, makeup. It has to do with light, color. It's almost like an artist. It's different from a person specialized in hair cutting. It's a lot more about how you hold a scissor, how do you have the capacity to understand mathematical, geometrical insights to be able to have a perfect haircut. And it's also different from someone else that will focus on chemical changing colors, using products. So we kind of managed to identify
Mhm.
people's capacities in a way that we would make them specialize in what they would do the best instead of trying to teach everything to everybody. So that was also something we learned from trial and error, but it was really successful at the end of the day.
It's incredible. So, as you've built that, you've got the multifaceted, you've got this. I love my feedback loops. One thing feeds into another, that feeds into another, and then comes back,
Exactly.
and it just reinforces itself and gets bigger and better on its own in that circle. What was then that next step, or did you have a vision for we want to build it out worldwide, or we want to build it to this point, and then it's time for the next ownership team?
Oh, no, I've always dreamed of having a global success. I created a PowerPoint presentation for the team with the picture of the Chrysler's building on it,
Mhm.
saying one day we will be opening our first unit in New York. That was in 2005. And when we really opened our first unit in New York in 2017, people couldn't believe it because the date on the PowerPoint presentation, the imaginary date was 2017. And I couldn't even remember that I had put that date back then, but it was like a dream come true. So we always wanted to grow. And one of the challenges, the next step, as you questioned, was how to grow faster, how to create ways to train people, to choose the right location, to have the most productive and financially viable location per unit. So we created a process called Beleza Ideal BN, Ideal Beleza Natural. We tried to compare units and understand why unit A is better in customer service compared to unit B that is better in terms of finance results, compared to unit C that is best in terms of productivity, for instance. And based on those comparisons, we managed to create what we call the ideal BN. Well, let's try to make a store that has this mosaic of different things that make it the ideal unit. And based on this ideal unit, we will expand to different locations. So we managed to expand to 5 different states, 55 locations, each location with 100, 150
Mm-hmm.
employees, each one. It was really not a regular salon. The space we had was around 6,000 square feet. It was really, really huge. And we had a lot of people because of the demand. It was amazing. We had what we called caravans. People from different locations, they came in groups to try the service, try to see if they like the products. And then when they come back home, they invite new friends to come back next month. And then all of a sudden we had people from all over the country coming in caravans to visit our locations in the states where we already had a unit. And based on where the caravans were coming from, we opened new units. So that became also part of the process as well. It was really much better because made us have a certainty in terms of where should be the next location.
Now, I heard someone recently talk about proof of concepts, and whether it be software or retailers, you don't actually have to make a product. You don't have to have the service in order to sell it and in order to prove it out and know that it's there. And you're saying we didn't actually have to be in that state to know it's going to be successful because we had clients already
Coming
coming to
from
it. And then you had that built in. And
Mhm.
you mentioned some challenges that as I talk to business owners and CEOs that we want to grow faster. And a lot of people can grow fast, but the faster they grow or the more they grow, the less money they're making. Or the lower the customer service, the more defects that they have in their product. They're just always challenged with that. And I
True.
heard you say at the very beginning that you perfected the model and then you grew. And you said once you got to a certain point, you had to rethink, wait a minute, are we doing it the right way? Because this unit is doing that better and that unit is doing that better. And you had to stop and adjust or
Mhm.
re-perfect or
Exactly.
realign. And then you grew again. Did you notice that you kind of had those plateaus and then you had to almost reinvent or say, what's the next version look like?
Um, it's difficult to look back and to see the exact moment when that happened. I think it was kind of a flow. It was not a really conscious moment where we had to stop and rethink everything. We were always trying to make better decisions and to make the process more productive, more financially successful, the clients more satisfied. And then it was like a normal flow of process to plan, do, check, and act all the
Mm-hmm.
time. What can we do better? Why that store that we opened was not as successful as the other one? What changed? What did we miss? So those questions led us to improve the model. And one thing that we were absolutely committed to was the culture, to make sure that the customer service, the the respect, the way we treated our clients was something that we were not giving up in the face of growing faster. We wanted to make sure that we would grow as fast as we could, but without losing our control on how to choose the right people, how to train the right people, how to treat the clients the way we wanted them to be treated as if they were our family members. So for many years, I visited clients' homes to see where they kept the products, how do they use the products on their own environment,
Mhm.
what were the questions they had, how could we improve the products. For instance, we observed that many clients, they didn't wash their hair on the bathroom, but they prefer to wash their hair on the sink
Mhm.
because the water was stronger. They could be doing different things, organizing the house, taking care of the kids. And in 10, 15 minutes, they would wash their hair on the sink. They would put a mask on the hair and keep doing other things, and then back to the sink to wash it and to rinse the mask out. And by observing that, we saw that it's completely different to use a product on the bathroom from the sink, especially when you are like this with your eyes closed with the water
Mhm.
flowing. So we decided to change all the packaging because of that. It became a packaging that the client could feel only by touching if that
Mhm.
was a conditioner or a shampoo, because the lids were in different locations, so they could feel
Got it.
by only touching little things like that. It's difficult to remember all the details, but we were really focused on how can we make this client feel unique, amazing. Another example is when we were deciding to create the structure for the new salons on the Ideal BN, we wanted them to feel like models. We wanted to make them feel like if they were going to a glamorous party or a glamorous show. So we decided to create a catwalk that was the place where they would leave the salon with red carpet, lights, music, flashes, and a full body mirror where they could Instagram themselves and take pictures and share them because they were feeling absolutely gorgeous. They just felt they just finished their treatment. Their hair was looking amazing, and then they could walk the catwalk and leave to their homes or whatever they were going to, feeling absolutely like a rock star. We also learned from one of the visits that we've done to companies that we admired. One of them was Disney. Disney has a huge following of people that love the company, love the parks, love the experience. Although they are in a location where the sun is hitting 100 degrees with a lot of kids, a lot of lineups, and that was really curious for me. Well, how can they make people love that experience, even though there are so many challenges to
Yes.
be there and to use the attractions and to feel happy in that location. And we observed that during the waiting time, the attraction has already started because there were so many things to look, to observe, like TVs showing videos, the characters playing with the kids,
Mhm.
and all kinds of different decorations and memorabilia to make you feel completely immersed in that environment. And then you move to a different location, a different room, and you think you're going to the attraction, but no, you're going to another part of the lineup, completely different from the first one. And again, you are immersed in a different universe of things that you
Mhm.
can pay attention to, and you don't feel, but it's already 30 minutes that you are there. And finally the attraction. And the attraction is so amazing and so exciting, but it takes like 6 seconds and it's over. When you finish the attraction, you end up at the shop where you buy something to remember that experience. And we said, wow, that's so amazing. That's so intelligent. Why not copycat this process and create a business unit where the client starts in part of the service, then they go to a different room where another part of the service is done, then they go to the attraction that is the main service, and after they finish in the shop, they buy the products to take home
Mhm.
until their next visit, and they finish going away on the catwalk. So all the stores, they changed based on this layout, after our visit to Disney. And we've always wanted to learn more by observing, by copycatting companies like McDonald's, like Disney, like Natura, one of the biggest Brazilian cosmetics company, Southwest Airlines, in a way that they hire and train their employees, many others. So we never felt ashamed of copying what we felt that would make sense in our business.
And clearly, it's made them successful.
It's
Why
true.
can't it make other things successful? And why
Hmm.
reinvent the wheel? What's kind of that next thing that as you opened up the ones in the United States and you're always trying to look to see what can we improve on, what can we do next? I know you've always got that next thing in mind as you're envisioning it. What do you see as the future for it?
Well, unfortunately, my partners decided not to continue the international expansion. They decided to focus on Brazil. That's when I decided to leave the company, although it was like leaving my baby. I felt horrible, but I decided to sold my shares and leave the company. I kind of stayed in this void of what I'm gonna do next because I've always been so in love with Beleza Natural and the project, the company, the clients, the team. And I took a sabbatical year to rethink what would be my next move. And I decided to open a new company called Curlab. Curlab is a beauty tech, is also focused on curly hair treatments, but we use a completely different process. We're not a hair salon. We use artificial intelligence to create unique formulas per client. So the client uploads a photo, also answers a questionnaire, and based on the answers and the characteristics of the hair, based on the client's needs and preferences, we decide with the algorithm what kind of formula was the best per person, and we create a formula with the color, the fragrance, the name of the person on it. Everything's really hyper segmented in a way that they can feel unique as well as in the same manner that they were at Beleza Natural. So this is my new baby. I'm starting from scratch with Carol Lab. We haven't launched yet. It's probably gonna happen in the next couple of months. I'm super excited. I think this is gonna be a fantastic journey as well. I stayed here for a long while, learning about the clients, learning about the culture, learning on how to create this company that was not focused on just showcasing products or creating this kind of commercial relationship where I give you the product, you give me your money, and that's it. We want to be part of the journey. We want to hold hands with our clients and make sure that they have the same environment that they would have if they were in a hair salon. I
Mhm.
mean, having a virtual hairdresser 24/7 at their disposal to ask questions, to feel emotionally taken care of. Because sometimes it's not just a matter of having the right product or the right service. It's about having the support because you feel, I don't know, uneasy because you're going to a job interview or because you're going to an event that is really formal where you don't know what to do with your hair, especially when it comes to curly hair. You want to have your hair
Yeah.
natural and curly, but it's not easy to deal with it sometimes. So having people that would be there to guide you, to help you, to give you the emotional support, to create a community where people can exchange ideas, exchange histories of their own path. It's really what I'm completely involved with now, and I'm in love with all this journey. One thing that also excites me a lot about CurlLab is because we are based on data. I love technology, and I think data is something that can help us really cater the service and the products perfectly for each person. So, for instance, let's say you are our customer, and then you decide to move to Texas. And then the temperature, the weather, the kind of the water, everything changes. So your formula should change as well. Or even if you stay in California, but you decide to start having swimming lessons and you will have to wash your hair a lot more frequently. Probably you need a new solution as well because the water will be different. The frequency on which we will have your hair washed will be different. So we will really focus on understanding the client's journey and being part of this journey with them. So I can't wait to start. I'm really excited, and that's my next big step.
It's fascinating that you're tapping into something that many of us struggle with and don't realize how frustrating it is. I can have,
Mm.
there is absolutely no question on any given day, you know how humid it is
Oh
where I
God.
live based on the size of my hair, and there is just no getting
It's
around
true.
it. Anyone who has watched my podcast knows, all right, humidity is up in Southern California, clearly. And it's just something you deal with, but you don't always feel good about it. You don't feel confident about it. And you're saying it's, yes, we've got the technology, we've got this, but we're going to help you always feel good. You're focusing in on that person, and you don't have to just deal with it or struggle with it or be self-conscious as you're staring at your image in the
Mhm.
Zoom, including with remote work all day. But you're tapping into a basic need.
And you don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel that you're struggling with no help. We want to have nutritionists to help you choose what is the right diet for your hair needs. Sometimes your hair is falling, is weak, and it has nothing to do with just the products. It's about your diet. Or a dermatologist focused on hair that knows a lot about your scalp and understands why you are having, I don't know, dandruff, for instance, and what can you do to change it. So we really want to have professionals that would be able to help you, guide you, and cater to your needs independently on how well versed you are on your core journey. Sometimes people know everything about all the products. They feel comfortable about how to take care of the hair. This is great, but the majority of people are not like that. They are really struggling. They're really trying to find answers, spending tons of money and getting frustrated. And that's what we want to tackle and to change. We really want to be part of their lives in a way that will enhance not only their beauty, but their self-esteem, their self-love, and be part of their lives.
That whole being. And having grown a company once, we always say you do things better the second, third, fourth time around because you learn. What one or two things would you say, I'm going to do this differently? And not necessarily because it wasn't good the first time, but having gone through this, I know that there's some differences here, and here's what I'm going to do differently, and here's what I learned.
I think I'm able to try and error, to be able to be open to change and be open to error in a much more confident and strong way, let's say. I know that the errors, the problems, the obstacles will be part of the journey. So I'm
Mhm.
not afraid of them. I want to try, I want to be more like a risk taker in a level that is conscious, is not something crazy, but in a way that we can make decisions based on what technology also helps us do in a much faster way. Just the it's A/B tests, listening in a technological way that makes us use the feedback in a loop that's much faster. So that I think will be really helpful to make sure to implement in a faster way than I did in the past because the technology was not well developed as it is today. And I
Mhm.
think I'm much more mature and ready to this new challenge.
I love it. I always believe breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. It's tough to have success without failure.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's how we
It,
learn. What advice would you give to other young entrepreneurs looking to start something for their first time?
um, I think you don't have to feel alone. You don't have to be alone. Try to learn from other people's mistakes and successes.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be the CEO of a huge multinational company. It can be something simpler and closer to you. But when you adapt the knowledge for your business, you will always learn something. Let's say you have a very successful supermarket near you. Why they are so successful? Why they have clients so happy? How can you emulate them in your business and learn from that specific entrepreneur? And most people, they will never say no for you when you ask for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, 15 minutes of your time. I just want to learn from you. Most people will say yes. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to expose your um, um, doubts and questions. And there's nothing wrong with being in doubt. And sometimes being an entrepreneur is such a lonely journey because you think you have to know all the answers. And really, you don't. Nobody does. So you can count on people, count on other entrepreneurs, create a network of people that can help you, mentors. Um, it will be great, but if you cannot access that kind of
Mhm.
people, people that are a lot closer to you can also be really helpful.
Oh, that's fantastic. I am excited to see how this next stage and next steps and this adventure that you're on right now. Please keep us updated. And I have no doubt a year from now, we'll be back here and you'll be talking about the launch and the next iteration
I
of
hope
it.
so.
I'm just so excited for you, Layla. And thank you for sharing not just those successes, but oh yeah, there was some hard stuff that went on, and it was
Oh, yes,
frustrating and it was lonely. Because I know that so many of us do feel like that, whether we have business partners, a leadership team, it's easy to be surrounded by people and yet feel like you're alone in going through this and what those emotions are like. Appreciate you sharing that.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Christian. This was such an amazing, fantastic way to share my life, share a little bit of Collab and Beleza Natural, and I hope that the entrepreneurs that are listening, they feel motivated to continue their journeys as well.
Despite on any given day, whether you're up or you're down, you just push forward and reach out and get that lifeline. Talk to people,
Exactly.
open it up. Layla, thank you so much. And I look forward to all that is to come for you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You
It was a
too.
pleasure.